So it's been 30 days now since I stopped drinking coffee. Well, since I stopped drinking regular coffee. I've continued to drink decaf coffee, which has a very tiny amount of caffeine in it, but definitely a lot less than a regular cup. And firstly, there are so many videos out there about like, I stopped drinking coffee for X number of days and here's what I learned. So apologies for adding another one into the mix. But I can see why people do it because things happen and you want to share it. So I want to share a little bit about my own experience with it, but also I want to share from a body acceptance perspective what I learned and kind of what I see from stopping drinking caffeine. So first things I want to say is that I wasn't ever a huge coffee drinker. I was just sort of a regular coffee drinker, I guess you could say. I drank a cup in the morning and then I would sometimes have one in the afternoon. And I didn't really think that it was affecting me that much until I stopped. Now, I've stopped caffeine before, but I've always stopped it more because I had to. So I was going on usually a retreat of some kind, like a spiritual retreat, personal development retreat, and they would strongly recommend stopping coffee for the experience. So I would do that, but it never stuck because it was something I had to do versus something that I really wanted to do. So I would just pick up the coffee after I came back home. But here's what I noticed. I'm just firstly going to talk about the results, and then I'm going to talk about a little bit more some insights around the body acceptance piece of it. So firstly, I had 2 days of horrible detox from it, which, that alone, I think says that it's having an impact on my body if I have such a strong reaction. So I was super tired for 2 days, would nap, even though I'm someone who normally can't nap. I struggle to nap, but I was so tired I would nap. I felt awful. That lasted for about 2 days. Then by the third day, things started to turn around. The biggest shift that I've noticed since I've stopped drinking caffeine is in the morning. So I was always somebody who felt so groggy in the morning. I'm like, don't talk to me for the first hour of the day. I would need to hit my alarm 3 times, always snoozing, would drag myself out of bed. Again, I just chalk that up to thinking, oh, I've got a toddler, I must be so tired. Even though on the nights I would get 9 hours of sleep, I would think, shouldn't I be feeling better? I mean, I've slept so long. Like, do I need 10 hours? Like, how much sleep do I actually need? Well, once I stopped the caffeine, after about, I'd say by day 4 or maybe even 3, I was waking up and I was alert. Like, bing, time to get up. And I would just get up. I didn't hit my alarm and I was shocked, like literally shocked. Like, how am I awake? Like, how do I just wake up and I'm just like bang out of bed? It was crazy to me. And it kept happening morning after morning. And I said to my husband, I'm like, I'm so much more alert in the morning. And he's like, I know, you actually smiled at me this morning. But just go to show how grumpy I was before. So that was the biggest effect. Like, that alone was enough for me to say, I'm not drinking caffeine anymore. Like, it hurts me. It doesn't help me. I think it's helping me during the day, but it's not. It's making my mornings miserable and I'm dependent on it and I have a detox from it. So, and I don't miss it because I drink decaf and it literally hits the spot. Like, I really enjoy drinking a cup of coffee in the morning. I like having an afternoon latte, but having a decaf is just great. I get the pleasure from that, but without the negative effects of the caffeine. My energy also tends to be a lot more steady during the day, so I don't have lots of dips. And my sleep, I never considered myself to be a bad sleeper. Like, I always felt like I slept well, but now I just notice I have more vivid dreams. I definitely, if I'm tired at night, like, I'll just pass out, I just fall asleep and that's it. I'll usually wake up with the alarm in the morning. So I definitely getting more solid sleeps. So for that alone, I've decided I am not going back to caffeine. It is so not worth it considering those effects. And I just needed to, go through that not great period of the detox and adjusting. But now I'm like, that's it. this is the way of the future for me. All right, so those are firstly my effects and why I'm so happy about it. But here in the body acceptance piece is what I want to talk about too. So when I talk about body acceptance, when I'm working with clients, I'll talk about how we're now guided by ourselves, by our what I call inner wisdom, this deeper sense of knowing. We're listening to ourselves versus listening to what the mind is telling us. So the mind gets inputted with information from outside of us. So that's all the information about diets, which come with it a ton of shoulds and shouldn'ts, needs to, have to, right, wrong, good, bad, all that kind of stuff is coming from our head. And when we work on accepting our bodies, we're stopping trying to control and change our bodies based on the mind and just letting the body be. And instead turning into now listening to our inner wisdom, letting that be the guide. So my desire to stop drinking coffee came from that inner wisdom. It came from these nudges. I would just start thinking about it more. I would start, maybe I should stop drinking coffee. Like it would come up more and more for me. And so I decided to try it. And here's the thing, like when there's no should or shouldn't, good or bad, right or wrong, I can try it and then go back to coffee if I want. No harm, no foul. Like it's all open, it's all available. It's just purely becomes trial and information. The whole purpose of listening to your inner wisdom is following what feels good to you. It's all about feeling good. It's all about feeling better. So that was what fueled the desire. And that's why I believe it's sticking, because I'm seeing the results and it just makes sense. I'm not doing it because I should or I shouldn't. Now, the second piece, when we're again working on listening to ourselves and letting that be our guide, is when we use external substances like caffeine to help us feel more awake, we end up overriding our signals. So again, I'm not making this wrong or bad. I'm just like noticing that we're using it to push through a strong signal that's coming in saying, hey, you're tired. Or maybe it's giving us information that we could try something else. So we're kind of overriding that and not listening to what do we really need. So do we need more rest? Do we need to be eating something else, something, different, more, less, whatever it may be? We can try these things out. Do we need more water? Like, do we need a meditation break? Like, we have all of these different things we can look into say what's going to support us. And when we use something like caffeine to override that, we miss out on that opportunity of being able to really serve our body. So again, I'm not, there's no shame or anything if that's what you're doing. It's just something that I've noticed and observed. And it's often the harder thing to do, right? It's not the instant thing. It might take some time. So that's why we tend to, go for something that's quick in the moment, because it's like, I'm tired now, I want energy now. But really, we want to look at what's happening for the long run. So just like where diets are only ever temporary, they're never fixing whatever this thing that they're supposed to be fixing. It's not ever addressing the root cause. It's the same thing when we use something like, caffeine. So anyways, I thought I would share it with you. The feeling that I'm at right now is I'm not going back. I can't see how I can. I'm having way too good mornings now. And there's the wonder, like, so grateful for decaf coffee that I'm able to have that nice little pleasure in my day, but without the negative effects of it. Yeah. So curious, maybe you've had experiences with coffee and not, drinking it, share that below. And also too, if you're feeling moved that you want to be able to work on listening more to that inner guidance, to let that be the thing that's fueling you in your life, but there's a lot going on up here in the head, that's what my coaching is for. That's what my resources are for. So check those out.